Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video on my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you around the city I built, which was used in the City Skylines 2 release trailer. So this was commissioned by Paradox Interactive in August. So just know anything I'm showing you today is early access gameplay. Please do forgive any FPS issues or any graphical differences to the game you have now. So the brief I was set back in August was to build a desert style city. Maybe obvious to some, I've built Dubai, or well, inspired by Dubai at least. So it's certainly not a one-to-one recreation or anything like that. But you know, I felt it was a build which I could achieve in vanilla gameplay. And you know, it's got iconic areas like the palm here, which I've managed to recreate. Really happy with how that all turned out. So the brief was to create a desert style city. Maybe stupidly, I was kind of expected some sort of terrain or texture painted like, you know, the ground resource in CS1. But as we didn't have that, I kind of figured out a way to almost replicate the desert look using specialized industry. So we had 4 weeks to build a city. We had to play without unlimited money. We had to play the full economy, build it all properly. You know, I was quite glad of this actually. You know, it's not something I normally would do. I've always played unlimited money in CS1. But I've managed to get to 372,000 people, which I was quite pleased with. So yeah, felt like it was a bit of an achievement in itself, especially in a 3-week period. Probably should have had 4 weeks, but they did ask me 1 week before I released my water park stuff. So I did kind of have to continue on with that, even though I was just dying to play CS2 at that point. But you know, I had to kind of get that live, I had to get it all finished. I've been working on it for so long. But obviously it was a very exciting time. Then, you know, learning how to play the game. We were kind of figuring it out as we were going. Shout out to Teddy Radko, who was also building a city at the same time. We just kind of chatted along and, you know, sharing tips and what we learned as we were doing it. So yeah, the whole point of this video is just to show you around, kind of tell you a bit about my experience, tell you about, you know, I'll talk about my thoughts on the game as well. So yeah, let's just start with the palm. You know, this is probably the most iconic area which most people would recognize. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to film any building footage, so I'm unable to show you how I created it. But I did just build it all on land. I kind of built up the road network. And then once I was done, I just terraformed the land away, which revealed the water. You know, it's not perfectly symmetrical. But, you know, I think for vanilla City Skylines, it's not that bad. So I'm quite happy with how it all turned out. It is mostly residential throughout, you know, all of these little streets. But at the end, we do have hotels and leisure activities along the front. We've kind of, you know, placed them all the way along the outside edge of it. And then, like, just like in real life, you know, the Palm Island does have a water park, the Atlantis water park. So of course I had to include this, you know, this little water park asset, which is included in the base game. You know, you might think, you know, maybe based on me releasing water park assets in CS1, this is probably my favorite asset in City Skylines 2. I don't know, I love the asset, but there is one thing which does bug me. It's this kind of scaling issue here. If you look at the size of this parasol, and then you look at the size of this water slide, they're around the same size. So kind of like this water slide is like the size of a parasol. I don't know. But small issue on otherwise great looking asset. So we've got the swimming pool, we've got the tennis courts, we've got hotels, parks, trees, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, really fun build. Very different to anything I've built before. You know, I've never done a Middle Eastern style city in City Skylines 1 or 2 for that matter. So yeah, good challenge. We've also got these beaches. So as we didn't have terrain painting or anything like that, I just came up with using the specialized industry. I think this is the oil one, has beaches which look pretty cool. And there's kind of a little hack when you're able to do it without letting the building spawn. So you just have to find the right point where it doesn't quite connect, and you can achieve this look. We do have these industrial fences, which I'd rather not have, but I think for the most part, I think they work quite well. We've got a really nice texture here, and if you point the camera in the right direction, it's not too bad. I think the beachfront here is working super well. It's all kind of framed by these really large skyscrapers, which kind of feels quite Dubai-esque. So we have the harbour. Now, I kind of wish this harbour was half the size, if I'm being honest. I think I built it quite very early on. It's very cool. It's a similar shape to one of the harbours which I found in Dubai, but I think it's just too big. I think if that was kind of half the size, it would have worked a lot better. But it's cool. We've got that cargo harbours, we've got some cool specialised industry, some unique buildings, kind of train setup. So yeah, works really well. I think these desert style plots, all these specialised industries work quite well just for empty plots of land. And this didn't quite come out as well as I hoped, but I did use sewage outlets to kind of purposely pollute the water around the harbour. The original intention was these would have all blended together, almost like softened a little bit as well, but it didn't quite work out, even though this was left for an extremely long time, maybe another 100 years or something. They might have blended together, I don't know. But I did just kind of run out of time. Kind of wish it wasn't quite as red as it is. But this is early access, so maybe it has changed now and I'm just not sure. So yeah, a lot of really cool stuff within the main part of the city as well. So I did try and pay quite close attention to the highways and having quite unique large buildings along the way into downtown to have quite a distinctive view from this angle. I've tried not to zone too much along here where possible, adding at least a few unique buildings along the way. Got a school here, we have a prison, police stations. Part of the city, which I really like as well, is we have a really expansive train network. I can't quite remember, but I want to say around 20 train stations. We have stations either side of the marina. The tracks kind of come all the way down here, out to the beach, out to the Palm, to the airport, and then we got Central Station here. With Central Station, I've placed 2 train stations back to back and then fed them all going in one direction underneath the highway. Train stations going out to the suburbs in all directions, out to the industrial zone and around. So yeah, very expansive train network, which I'm really pleased with. It transports a lot of citizens around the city. So if we have a look, there's 54,000 people using the trains each month. You've got 76,000 using the bus network. And then some using boats and planes and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, really good bus coverage, really good train coverage, all connecting parts of the city. So this part of the city is like an old town area. So predominantly the entire city is using North American buildings. But around this area, I've tried to use European buildings as well, just to kind of give this more of like an old town feel. We've got lots of unique buildings around here, such as City Hall and assets which generally have a historical look. Some manicured gardens, City Park. So yeah, really nice area, all kind of leading into, is it the University Hospital, kind of centre of town. So here we have some of our largest skyscrapers, which help give the city like a unique skyline. I think even this car park asset, I think that works super well for Dubai. It's got a very futuristic, look about it. So yeah, really happy with all of the downtown. Just got quite simple suburbs, but I've tried to get it looking quite nice. We've got a bit of low income housing and row housing, which just kind of breaks up the low density. Cemeteries and football pitch, all which then transition into the medium density. It all just transitions really nicely, leading into the high-rise then part of the cities. We've got a river here, then feeding into the marina. Now, I know Dubai doesn't quite have a river, at least not like this. But I don't know if you recognise the original map. It's the twin mountain map, or two mountains. I don't know, I forget which one. But it kind of had two rivers running down here. But I was getting lots of problems terraforming around the water, trying to control the water, which kept on just flooding my city time and time again. I probably wasted at least a day or two just trying to fix this river. But in the end, I just couldn't control the water at all. So in the end, I just had to just block it and hide the water. It just had to go. We just don't have the tools. We don't have flood control or prevention, But I actually think it came out better. So even though Dubai doesn't have this, I think this dried up dam is a really cool addition to the city. So on this terrain, I have tried to scuff it up a bit, almost like you'd imagine sand dunes would be, this kind of scuffed up effect and ripples. It's almost done to like soften the grass, mainly because, cliff textures are more suited colour. You just can't have them on flat land. And then, it just feeds really well into the river. This is a really nice part of the city. I think, once we get some more tools, people will be able to create some super good nature builds, which is, very, very exciting. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to try them myself. And then the river feeds then into the harbour, into the marina. Even this, I feel like this is quite Dubai. Maybe it's the caves, a bit of modern kind of feel to it. Highway going over the top, just looks super, super cool. Obviously, this was quite tricky to get in, but I'm sure you've all seen the YouTube tutorials on how to do this, so I don't need to explain how to do that. But yeah, really happy with how the marina came out, really happy with the city, some really unique parts to the city. This area is mostly offices and commercial as well. So, more educated citizens coming here, some high density residential. And then that's all framed by the more industrial front and harbour as well. So they work quite well in tandem, Dubai also has these kind of areas in real life as well, where you have these kind of pockets of industry, which are on these islands just offshore. So I thought they'd be quite nice to replicate. And, once again, it just gives that sandy look, that desert style, which we've been trying to replicate from Dubai. And that's a lot of the city, really. We do have some small suburbs on either side of the city. We do have a refinery out here. It does paint a nice view of the city. So yeah, that's the city. It's been nice to look at it again one last time. It's been quite a few months now since I built this. Hope you've enjoyed taking a look around too. So we have the international airport here. This is where I've tried to use the desert effect a bit more of barren land, using the oil and farms just to create a bit of variety. I think, that works quite well as a bit of a desert. So all in all, it was like an amazing experience. One, being asked to build a city to be used in the game's marketing on release, especially for a channel of my size. I wasn't expecting to be asked by any means, just pretty crazy. So yeah, really grateful to that, really grateful just to be able to play early access. Never done that before, so yeah. Thanks to Colossal Order and Paradox for that. Shout out to the other creators who also built City, Teddy Radco, Palms Diamond Lattice. Really cool seeing each other's builds, kind of giving each other tips. Overall, you know what? really enjoyed building in the city. You know, it was a really, really fun build. Unfortunately, though, after this, I haven't played City Skylines too much, but I am starting to get more time again now. Such a long time I was so focused on the water park stuff, which was way more work than I anticipated. The launch of all of those assets, and to then go from that straight into building this city for 3 weeks, pretty much continuously. Kind of needed a break after that. You know, it was a lot of City Skylines in a very short period of time. I haven't played a lot since until recently, actually. So recently I've been getting back into it. I think before that, I was waiting for release, kind of waiting for mods, kind of waiting for assets, kind of waiting for the editor. But more recently, the developer mode has become available, so we have props, so I am working on something cool. Overall, it's a really fun game, which is just going to get better and better. You know, I've really enjoyed the economy side of things. This was, you know, a lot more than I would normally. I think in future mods will really help improve the micromanagement type experience. Makes me more likely in future to play with money enabled, more focused on setting up a city's economy, you know, whereas in the past, in City Skylines 1, I would probably just go straight for unlimited money and just focus on the design. But I would say there's a few things missing for me at the moment. Until recently, there was props. I think there's terrain painting, you know, texture painting. I think there's map themes, LUTs. These are probably the things I want the most. I think I prefer the detailing side of the game. I want the tools to be able to make more unique builds. But no doubt in future, we'll get these. Obviously, Colossal Order need to prioritize performance right now. Totally understand that. You know, but it's going to be so great when, you know, these tools are released, we get them. Of course, the editor too. It's all going to be super, super exciting. I have started work on some assets already, which I'll share more about in future. I do also have plans to create my own map, though lots I want to do in future. But, you know, I'm super, super trusting of both Colossal Order and Paradox to deliver the game we all want them to. I think, you know, we should just give them time to work their magic. I think the game perhaps was released a little too early based on the performance issues, which we're all aware of, but I'm sure they'll get this sorted for us. You know, in time, we're definitely going to get there. We're going to get all of these assets. We're going to get all of the mods. We're going to get all of the stuff we want. So I feel good. We trust the devs, trust the talented creators, and the modders in the CS community to come up with the stuff, which no doubt blows our minds on what's possible. Excited for the future. Excited for all the stuff I want to do in the new game. Already started on working on some new assets. Already started working on a new build. Video content as well. So yeah, there's hopefully a lot more content going to be coming out to you in the future. And yeah, that's it. That's everything from me. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you all again in the next video.